Hello, Betty Croswick here. I've titled this post, Is Bill Gates a Threat to Democracy? But on second thought, uh, I think Bill Gates is not only a threat to democracy, but he's a threat to humanity. I feel him as being a threat to humanity. Um, because I'm human. My children, grandchildren, grandchildren are all human. I associate with people who are all human. We all eat, we all have to have food. And Bill Gates is very aware that humans need food. But he also thinks that humans are hard to control. And he is an absolute control freak to the core. He not only wants to control America, but he has an eye on doing the global thing more than, he's a globalist to the core. He's got to get everybody corralled to go into this great reset, financial reset, and get their minds set to where they're going to, people are going to accept this quietly and calmly and not be ugly about it. So he, that's what he thinks is going to happen, but we'll see. The thing that worries me first, that's been worrying me for some time, is that Bill Gates now is the biggest private owner of farmland in the United States. Wow, talk about being a cowboy. Bill Gates is a real cowboy. He's a real farmer, rancher, and he owns it all. He's the king of the farmland boys. And I fear for this. This is not good for America. It's not good for Canada. It's not good for Europe. It's not good for anybody, because we know that when people own land, they want to take charge of their property and do with it as they will. And of course, they have a legal right to do so. And but here's this. I think, it's my opinion, that Bill Gates has a real urge to lower the population of the world, particularly to the United States and even Europeans. But Africa really needs to be populating, and some of the Middle Asian countries. He has an urge to to trim out the fat, shall we say. And him owning all this farmland really gives me the jitters, because I think he's a creepy guy. I really do. And so when during this particular time, when he is just now owns close to 300 million acres of farmland that he's going to be in charge of, the news sort of has been dribbling out about his interests and financial interest and in infant formulas. He has contributed mightily to a new plant that is going to, our plants, who knows what it will be before it's over, of real, honest-to-God mother's milk that has, well, of course, it's not mother's milk, but it has all of the artificial components, and it's going to be just super duper for babies. Isn't it weird that this has come out at this time? Now, of course, the press, the media, they try to say that any suspicions about this coming out now, when just when this shutdown of the Abbott laboratories, who produces most of the infant formula in the United States, um, is just coincidence because Gates, they have said that it's going to be a number of years before this plant is ready to go. Um, but that will give uh, time for, I believe, uh, uh, the uh, the despair among mothers who, for one reason or another, can't nurse, or um, or who have health reasons not to nurse, or who simply working schedules prohibit them from nursing, is has worked its way through the population, and women are more hesitant to have babies because the food process and the working schedules, the health problems, it's all coming to a head where they're making it so difficult for women to even have babies. You would think with the modern life and all of the safe, the work-saving devices, it'd be a lot easier. No, it's grossly harder on mothers now than it ever was back in the olden days. So I have my doubts about Gates. He really, really worries me, and especially with this idea in his head that shows in some of the things he says and does, that he is really wants to see some depopulation. And if he controls the infant formula and all of farmland, he can almost depopulate the United States all by himself. He controls the food from the beginning to the grave, so to say. Um, so there you go. But Abbott Laboratories, they're fighting back because they're saying, let me read you what Reuters put out on the 16th. Reuters said that that Abbott Laboratories says there is no evidence to link its formulas to these illnesses that were for babies that got sick from supposedly this formula. And the Reuters report goes on. The CDC analyzed clinical samples from two of the infants and did not find a genetic match to the environmental strains found at the plant. There's nothing there that would show they came from the plant. It also said that the bacteria from the patient samples were not closely related to one another. So that the babies are not related, genetic, the genetic bacteria is not, that the two babies had were not the same. They were different. That means there were two different bacteria at work here, and neither one of them are related to the plant, the Abbott's own plant. So what do we make of this? What does it mean? Well, of course, the first thing that jumps to my mind, because I'm a conspiracy theorist, because I've lived long enough to know that there damn sure are conspiracies between the high and mighty. And but what this would seem to me to be that they don't have any real proof that these illnesses of these four babies were caused by anything in the plant. So Is that all the investigation we're going to have? Well, it must be just something that floated in from the air, from the ground. Somebody brought it in on their clothing. Um, well, according to the evidence they do have, kind of think that would be hard to do, for it to be inadvertently brought in. They have very strict protocols in this plant. They're very livelihood depends on these cleanliness protocols. How could this happen that you have four sick babies that are not apparently sick from anything in their environment or from each other? There's no connection between the babies and the bacteria or the plant and the bacteria. So what is afoot here? What is really going on here? I know that and Reuters puts out a whole thing where it's not true that anybody is deliberately planting these bacteria in certain babies. That's ridiculous, and on the face of it, it's ridiculous. Who would do such a awful thing? Who would do that to babies? But there are other aspects of this that I won't go into today, but I will do so next time. And I just feel for the mothers so much, and the fathers and the babies who can't get what they need. Oh my God, I've had colicky babies. I know what that is like. It is hell. So I'm thinking of you and hoping that this gets solved and your babies get their milk that they should have, and that the United States of America should be able to provide for the mothers of the children of America. That's ridiculous. And I think I better sign off. I'm getting heated up. Okay, next time. Bye.